there is no sense to be made for what happened last year. It's the game of football. Injuries that happen, and you have no control over injuries. Freakish things took place, and it just so happened that a lot of our injuries took place with the quarterbacks, which is kind of unheard of, and we just hope that that doesn't happen again this year.
Do you have a guy who's an emergency quarterback ready to go this year?
Well, we have 5 on the roster,
Right.
6 on the roster, as a matter of fact. So we got 6 on the roster, so we've got a little bit more depth there than what we had a year ago. But hopefully, we don't have to go that deep.
Talk about CJ coming back and how he's looked, how healthy he looks, because he said he's ready to go.
Well, he is. He was ready to go ever since the injury occurred. He wanted to get back out there, but the thing is that I really feel like that CJ is more than ready to go, and he's even going to be better than what he was going into the season a year ago, because I think for CJ, being on the sidelines and being away from the game and seeing what took place and seeing the big picture a little bit more, I think that's made him better. That's going to even make him a better leader. That's going to make him a better quarterback. He's had a chance to really sit there and study, our offense. He's tutored Perry and Caleb all throughout, last year, and really kind of became a coach, so to speak. And I think when you're in those situations, and then knowing how much he loves the game of football, and here it was taken away, especially with the opportunity, that he was going to have as a starter, it just made him hungrier and more eager to be better than he's ever been, and that's all you've seen out of him since the day the injury occurred. Is a guy who's worked his tail off to be stronger, to be better in every aspect, of the game, heading in here to 2013.
Dan Tortora, DTB Media, and Coach, with this being the last season for Maryland in the ACC, what has the ACC meant to the institution for Maryland, and what do you think about where they're heading?
Well, I think the thing is this, that, from an institutional standpoint, I know that, and I've only been at Maryland for 2 years, going on my 3rd year, but it's meant a lot to our institution to be in the ACC, and from a football, standpoint, we can't do anything about after this year. We're just focused on this year and what we want to accomplish, and the goals that we have for our team, and that's really the mindset and the focus that we have as we head into this year.
Hey, Coach. Mark Larson, Wine at Syracuse. Good to see you again. Your thoughts as a Syracuse graduate of Syracuse being in the ACC now? And I guess that's the way things are now, but back in the day, did you ever see this day coming?
Well, being a graduate and being a former player, and it's good to see that Syracuse has landed in a good spot. Had nothing but great memories of my time, as a player and then coaching there for 11 years, and I'm just glad that when this round of musical chairs went with conference realignment, that Syracuse had a home and had a good home here in the ACC. So look forward to competing against them this year, and then I think we've signed a 2-year agreement with them for some future games. So that's something that look forward to, because like I said, my wife and I both went to Syracuse, so there is a special place, and having been there for 15 years, a special place in my heart for Central New York and Syracuse University.
Randy, a year ago, you expected perhaps Stefan to be a good player. He turned out to be phenomenal. How would you like to perhaps use him differently or even more in year 2?
Well, I'm not going to give away any of our secrets that we've been working on. But no, I mean, he's a special talent. He's a special talent, and he has the ability to make things happen. And you sit there, and it's like when you think you've seen him do it all, he'll do something that you haven't seen before. He'll make some kind of play. And one of the things is that people don't realize. I mean, he's got enormous hands. He's got huge hands, so it's no wonder he can catch the ball, as well as he can. But I think the thing that what people don't understand about Stefan is the fact that he's a worker. You know, he wants to work, he wants to get better. He's a tremendous competitor. He hates to lose. You know, the thing we got to, do with him, he wants the ball all the time. You know, he wants the ball in his hands because he has tremendous confidence, in his abilities. But, the good thing, I think, for us this year is that we're going to have other weapons around him, which I think can make him even more dangerous and maybe have the ability to make some more big plays than what he did a year ago. Because I think if people want to start to try to scheme to take him away, there's going to be a way to get the ball to other people, and then who can make some big plays as well. And so now, I think things could open up for him even a little bit more. And then having a guy like CJ back there at quarterback, who has the ability to extend the play, I think that just creates a little bit more opportunities for Stephon. But he's a great young man to be around, and like I said, I just love his enthusiasm and his willingness to get better.
Hi, Coach Bob Holly from Raleigh. Seems like even more teams had success in the return game last year. A lot of runbacks for touchdowns. Stephon obviously was near the head of the class. Talk about his prowess in the return game, and also what the return game means to football in Maryland and in the league.
Well, I'll tell you, special teams, at least to me, is something that's very, very important. Because again, it's the ability to score points, but it's also the ability to change, the field position. And when you have a guy like Stephon, who can do that for you in the return game, it's really something special. I mean, when you take a look at from a kickoff standpoint, he took one, I think 107 against Virginia last year, 7 yards deep, and I'm saying, stay. Oh no, go, great decision, when he takes it for a touchdown. But that's a big part of the game. I mean, the number of plays that you get on special teams, it's a big factor, and can be a big factor in determining the outcome of the game. And I'm just glad that we have the ability to have a guy like him, and then I think we have a young man, Will Likely, who I think can be an outstanding punt returner as well, to kind of help him out a little bit from a punt return game. But when you have the ability to score points like we do with Stephon back there, it helps us, because now people might have to do different things, and to try to kick away from him, and the ball, they shank one or something along those lines. It gives you an advantage.
We talked about offense, we talked about special teams. Defensive side of the ball, you lose a lot of veterans, a lot of game experience last year. What's your take on where you are defensively?
Well, again, we had the unfortunate, Kenneth Tate, was injured during the year last year, so, people behind him got the opportunity to play. Demetrius Hartfield, I think, went down in game 7 or game 8, and then Lauren Marie started the last 4, along with, Cole Ferrand, who started for us all last year. So again, we got some experience there, losing AJ and Joe up front. But again, I think that we have enough people coming back and depth coming back that we'll be able to, get better on defense. And I think the one thing is we have more depth now, on defense than we had in the first 2 years that I've been there.
Randy Edsall, head coach of Maryland Terps. Thank you.